Hey, thank you again for coming. Hey, thanks. I'm sorry for what happened. It's my fault. For some reason, my internet went off and came back on for a quick second. I want to thank Rebecca and Sean for continuing on and trying to keep it alive until I got back and it shut off. And I just want to thank them for coming back and doing a second part too. So I don't know what the conversation was before.
I don't remember. It was something good though. I don't remember. Um,
At least it was good, because I actually don't remember either.
I
We
had
started
something
reading the
good.
patrol and everything and all that. But we were asking about storage auctions and stuff.
Yeah, I don't know.
Part two, I've seen this movie.
I don't remember. Maybe somebody can post in the comments what we were talking about.
If we have all the viewers, I don't know. I'm waiting for. We only got like 2 viewers that I know of
I
right
don't know.
now. We had 50 when I crashed.
Ah, cool. Alright, it's
We're talking
posted.
about.
How many? 50?
Yeah, we had 50 when I crashed. That's why I was hoping. Cause I know I didn't get to put any. Trying to get out of here. We got 2 right now. Oh, we're up
See.
to 4. Well, I remember you guys were talking about the how many you bought the last time when I crashed.
Yeah.
You were talking about the amount of storage lockers you were buying or something to that effect.
How many
Yeah.
you've bought and all that. What's the biggest storage locker you bought?
I bought a 20 by 30 or yeah. I bought a 20 by 30 one time. That was a mess. Actually, my parents, after Katrina, my parents had um, built their own because they were sick of paying for storage for so long. It was like 5 years their stuff was in storage. They were in a FEMA trailer for 5 years, and so finally my dad was like, screw this, I'm gonna go outside and I'm gonna build my own like storage, whatever. So he built this like huge shed that they
Uh,
put their stuff in. And recently I decided that I wanted some of my stuff back that was just thrown in there, but none of the bins were labeled. So I had to go through this shed that's probably 30 by 40,
mm,
floor to ceiling, wall to wall, and
shoot.
it took me, I think it took me 2 or 3 days of just nonstop, just opening each bin, and I didn't even pick it, I didn't even sort it, I just kind of, it's kind of like, look, open it, oh, this is mine, oh, this is not mine, oh, this is mine.
Uh,
Something I threw away and stuff. I mean, it was a mess. It was, oh my goodness, it took forever.
yeah, that would be nuts. Holy moly.
Forever.
I see a
And Mark
comment.
Welker was saying I'm starting to get into auctions. That's right.
Yeah, and Larry said something about $50 and your friends.
$50.
Hopefully we can get back to
Shit.
our 50 views.
What is that?
Please send them a link if you.
Yeah.
I want to appreciate everybody that did come back
Can
on.
you post a link in the other comment?
Well, no,
Oh,
the links we're talking about is the link to the show itself in Facebook. So if you want to put it in on your wall and say I'm on this show, maybe your friends that aren't out in Mississippi might catch you before they go to. Sean just shared the link and
Ken. It looks like
Um, what? Sorry, what?
he cut out and stuff. He was saying to share the show on the address on like your page or something, and then anybody you know might come on and watch it or something. Or
Oh yeah, I could do that. I don't have the other. Oh, I don't have the new YouTube link
it's
open.
up here in the group chat thing, the main.
Aha.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
I just put it up
Sean
there.
shared it in the.
I'm still reading the conversation going on the other one.
Are they still over there?
Yeah, some people are, yeah.
Well,
Going through 100 doors before
Oh,
you
he
find...
wasn't here from the
I don't
beginning.
remember.
You're on
I don't
location.
remember. I don't care. I don't know.
yeah. No, that's what it was. Buy 50 units before you buy one. That kind of thing.
Yeah, but I mean, just once you know, once you're confident of, what something should get for something, then I think you're ready to buy. And, Storage Treasures has a lot of really, really good information. And, you need to understand, like, a lot of people ask me the most retarded questions. And I mean retarded in the most loving way. Like, I usually don't use that word, but, like, it's like, people will come to auction and they'll be like, do I have to have my own locks? Yes. Do I have to have money? Yes. Do I have to have cash? Yes. It's like if you watched even one auction in your whole life, you would know the answers to these questions. It's like people all the time. Well, how do you know the auctioneer's not going through this stuff? Because like I said, there's a check and balances system. So you need to learn. The procedures and the policies in your state, what the law is, and all these kind of things before you're really ready to be able to throw your own money down on it.
Yeah. And the auctioneers usually have multiple each day that they go to, and if they have their schedule out at all, you can see where they're going. They don't have time to go through, through storage units and stuff. Whether they have other people, I don't know, but that's a whole nother. You can add to the whole, what ifs.
Yeah, well,
an auctioneer does not have time.
I guess that's something I can cover if people aren't familiar with it. So the way that so people know if they're not familiar with the process. Okay, let's say I'm a tenant and I rent a storage unit. Let's just say I don't want to use any names of companies because people are going to sue me. But let's say I buy a unit from Monster Storage. Okay, so I go to Monster Storage and I say, how much per month? And they say $150 a month. Your bill is going to be due on the 1st of every month. Okay. So I pay my $150 for the first month. The next month rolls around, it's the 1st. My $150 is due. I don't pay it. On the 5th, they assess a late fee. So now I owe $150 plus 10, 12, 25, whatever. I don't pay it. They call me. They say, hey, you owe some money. And I say, oh, I don't have the money, but I promise I'll pay. I don't pay. When that 30-day period rolls around again, so now it's coming up to the 1st now, depending on the facility, they're probably going to want to auction me. If it's a mom and pop shop and they have 50 units and they only have 4 of them being rented, they're probably going to wait a year to have their auction. But Monster Storage, let's say, has 500 units available and they're at 85% capacity, and they have 400 and something tenants, and they only have 3 vacant 10 by 10 units, which is the most popular size, and this is a 10 by, my unit is a 10 by 10. So they're going to want to auction me off as soon as the law allows. Every state has their own procedure for being able to auction it, but typically what happens is they make sure that the unit is legally available to auction. They contact the tenant and say via certified letter, your unit is going to be auctioned. They post in a public place, like either a sign in like the town square or the newspaper in the classifieds, on whatever date at whatever time, Rebecca Fox's unit number 253 will be auctioned off at Monster Storage located at this address, New Orleans, Louisiana. So I'm put on notice both via the phone call, the letter, the certified letter, and the public notice. Now they've started the process. If at any time I go in there and I pay my bill, they stop the whole process. It goes back to day one, and now I have to start that 30, 60, 90-day cycle again. If they don't, if I don't pay, then I can go to auction. Okay, so let's pretend I don't pay. Auction's in 10 days. Today happens to be the day that the auctioneer is going to come around and do I lie, because the auctioneer has to do the lot cuts before they do that newspaper advertisement. So when they do the public notice in the newspaper, it says, on such and such date at such and such time, Monster Storage is auctioning off Rebecca's unit number 132, whatever, containing the following items: refrigerator, basketball goal, miscellaneous boxes, scooter. The way that they know that is not because they went through everything. The way that they know that is because they did a lot cutting procedure. So the second that they know that I'm defaulted, the second that they know they've contacted me and they know that I'm going to auction, the auctioneer comes in on one day, cuts the locks off the units, rolls open the door. There's usually at least 3 people involved in this process. It's usually the auctioneer, the auctioneer's assistant, or the lock cutter, and the facility manager of whatever facility it is. They look. They take a photograph, sometimes a video, of exactly how everything looks. They see the big items that they can see from the door. They itemize that. The big items go in the newspaper. The file, everything goes in the file. As soon as they do this, they cut the lock. They put 2 things back on the door. They put the facility's lock on the unit to prevent me from going in and taking all my stuff and leaving without paying. And they put the auctioneer's security tag on that unit as well. It's a tamper-proof tag. You cannot open that tag and put it back on without destroying it. Once you destroy it, it's off. The tag number is recorded in the file. It's a checks and balances system. The auctioneer now can't take off their tamper-proof tag because the facility manager's lock is still on that unit. Facility manager can't go take his lock off because the auctioneer's tamper-proof tag is on the unit. Neither one of them now can tamper with this unit. They've both seen it. They've both recorded it. That's it. People don't realize that. So now this file that they have to keep for legal reasons for like a year has a copy of the newspaper clipping, a copy of the certified letter receipt saying that someone actually signed for it, a copy of the picture or the video of the unit being opened. I mean, all this information goes in there. If at any point in time either my name is typoed, maybe they put a K instead of a C, my unit number is printed wrong in the newspaper, the wrong date is printed in the newspaper, the VIN number of my scooter is transposed and 1 digit is off, or that tamper-proof tag serial number does not match the number that's in the file, the auction is canceled and put off another 30 days. So it's very, very, very difficult. Now, mom and pop shops, I'm not going to say they don't tamper, they don't do their own thing, whatever. But the majority of the large chains
chain ones,
have to follow this process.
Now, isn't it true that even the lock cutters, they have like processes and stuff too, right?
The lock cutter and the auctioneer and the facility manager are all doing this at the same time.
Yeah, but I mean, they have like responsibilities as far as like even separate from that. They have to. I've heard that they have like, I don't know, almost like a notary would have. That's like a separate entity, kind of, I guess, in a way.
It depends on the state. Some of them do, and some of them are like some places lock cutters will just have to notate time, unit number. Hey, I see a refrigerator, I see a washer, I see this, I see this. Dan and Laura Dotson's company, American Auctioneers, I've actually been on site with their lock cutter as he's done a lock cut to see exactly how they do their process in person, and they have like a checklist of like 500 items or 100 items or whatever, and it says, do you see car, gun, washer, dryer, and rather than write it, the person just like looks and checks and looks and checks and looks and checks, so everyone's different, but
Gotcha.
yeah, I mean it's a process. Like there's like the tenant, like people feel sorry for the tenant all the time. If we're in the middle of the auction and the tenant shows up, hey, here's my money, they'll let them buy it, and that's it. You don't get to buy it at auction. I've bid on a unit and won the bid and been in the office paying for the unit, and they're handing the receipt over the counter at me, and they run in, wait, and I've lost the unit. And I was like this close to having it, so until that paper changes hands, it's not your unit, so it's I forgot what I was gonna say. It's the tenant. They give every opportunity. They have what they call a bid hold unit even. So sometimes they'll auction off a unit, like, let's say auction day is the 15th, and the tenant says, oh, please don't auction off my stuff. I'll have the money on the 17th. Well, we have to have the auction on the 15th. Oh, I'll have the money on the 17th. So rather than have them not show up on the 17th with the money and have to re-auction that unit off the following month on the 15th, what they'll do is a bid hold. So they'll say, like, okay, they'll auction it off for $450, let's say. And they'll say, Rebecca, you won the unit, the price is $450, but it's a bid hold. So if on the 17th this person does not show up and pay, you show up with your $450, we give you the unit. But if the person does show up and pay, then I'm sorry, it's not yours. So that's kind of a way that they work with the tenant too. You know,
that's got to be one heck of a nice company to do that.
A lot of them do it. I mean, Safeguard does it. Public Storage does it. Safeguard does it a lot. Safeguard, I think, is probably the most tenant friendly. They do bid holds quite often. Safeguard.
Has anyone ever asked you to buy their storage unit back for them?
Oh, Lord Jesus, yes.
Yeah. I actually had this a few times.
There is a lady in New Orleans that we all know, and she is a hoarder, and she has, at any given moment, 19, count them, 19 storage units.
Holy moly.
I have bought 9 of her units in the past. I know people that have bought 5, 6, 7, 8 of her units. The facilities hate her. They can't stand the sight of her. She walks in, they freak out, they run the other way. But as I explained before, if your stuff goes up for auction and they make more than what your balance was, you have a credit. And by law, they have to either give you cash for that credit or give you that credit. And so what she does is she has that credit, and now she might get banned from certain facilities, but she still has that chain credit. So what's ironic about her, though, is that, like, of the 150-ish facilities in the New Orleans area, all 19 of her units are at 19 different facilities, and they're not even geographically close to one another, which makes me think, like, she was at Public Storage, in Metairie, Louisiana, and defaulted and got her credit, but they don't want to deal with her anymore, so now she's at Public Storage in New Orleans East, so...
oh, man.
But she's the nicest lady, but so crazy, and appearances can be deceiving, but I have never, ever, ever, ever had a good experience with buying from a tenant or buying for a tenant. It never works well. Don't ever do it. Don't ever do it. Don't ever do it. I cannot stress this enough. Like with her, the very first time, she was so nice, and she showed up, and she brought us coffee to our garage sale. Here, I bought you McDonald's breakfast, and, this never happens to me. I'm so sorry. Please let me buy my stuff back. We do. And then the next day it happens again, and then the next week we see another one of her units, and we're like, oh, man, maybe she just had a really tough time with Katrina, and, and then 6 months later we find out that it's like her 8th, 9th unit, respectively, so... toward the end of it, like, at the beginning, we'd buy a unit, we'd quick flip it, we'd buy it for 100, we'd sell it to her for 300, we'd buy it for 300, we'd sell it to her for, 1,000, whatever. And then, toward the end of it, she'd be like, oh, buy my unit, I promise I have the money, and then she did. And she's actually gotten so bad recently, she's gone around the area to local churches, asking them to pay for her storage unit to save it at auction, and then, the churches finally have caught on to the fact that she's gone to like 20 different churches now and pretends to be such a really good member of that church, and she goes to them and says, oh, I have my father's estate, and it's important things to me, and they show up and realize she's just a hoarder, and it's just all her hoarding stuff, and
wow,
it's pretty crazy, and another example. And this is all on our Storage Heroes blog spot. We have stories about her. We have stories about this other. There was this one other time where we were at a unit, and it was all baby stuff, brand new baby stuff. Like, someone literally went to a baby shower and got gifts and opened them and just left them. It was all brand new. And so we knew something was kind of off, and we, found a baby death certificate. And we were like, oh, God, they lost this infant. and we felt so bad. And the family called and asked for their stuff back, and we were like, it's probably they don't want it, because it's worth money. They want it because it's the child, it's sentimental. So we gave it back. We didn't give it back, but we always make them pay what they owed. So like if they owe 175, they have to pay us at least 175 plus our time and gas and whatever. So we sold it back to them, and they were so nice. And the man, said, "Oh, I just lost my job," they just had lost their car. She was pregnant again. They had she had just lost his car. Every day he takes the bus to work, and he had the money for the storage unit, but there was no bus line that went to the auction, and he knew that he didn't have a way to get the stuff to his apartment. So we brought the stuff to his apartment. He had 3 or 4 friends helping us unload it. Nice as could be, it was great. So about 3 years later, I have a photographic memory. We're at a unit. I look at the newspaper ad, such and such a unit is being auctioned off at whatever time, and I realize it's his name. It's a very uncommon name, and I'm like, oh my God, Brian. I'm like, this is Kendrick. We gotta get it for him. He did it again, and so we get it, and we call him, and he is like, yeah, I'm so sorry, same story, I promise I'll buy it. 4th of July. He makes me meet him 4th of July at the thing. He stands me up. He makes me meet him again. He stands me up again. So now at the 48 hours, I tell him, I was like, look, I only have 48 hours to get this unit out. It's a holiday weekend. I'm working my 4th of July so I can get it out. He stands me up again. I said, you know what? Fine. Now I have to move it out of the unit. So I move it out of the unit. Now, I was telling him to just come buy it from me and just take it right out the unit. So now I've had to transport it. So now we have 1 truck full. We have stuff still in the unit. So we want to bring the truck to his house. Oh, no, it has to be tomorrow. Okay, well, now I have to unload that truck, go get another van load, and come back and bring it to your house. So now I'm doing double work. So we add $50. Long story short, we get to his house. His wife, who had lost the baby, has 7 children, aged 1, 3, 4, 5, 8, 15, and whatever. The oldest one was like 18. So the 18 and 15-year-old could have helped us, but they're not. We're carrying stuff in. It's one of those apartment complexes where you can't just pull right up to the door and go in. You have to pull up and walk and go through a gate and walk upstairs and walk around with the pool and stuff. So we're carrying all her stuff for her. We have to make 50 trips, whatever. She knows we're only charging her what she owed plus an extra $100. We work for 8 hours like slaves, bringing the stuff back and forth over these kids that we're stepping over. It doesn't even as much as offer us water. Nothing. We leave, and that bitch has the nerve to call me and be like, you stole from me and my children. But excuse me? You stole from me and my children. There are 2 items that are missing. So
wow.
What are the items? My pack and play and my crock pot.
Oh my God.
You just made me for 8 hours unload
I thought
shit.
the other lady had issues.
So, I mean, you never. I've never. Ooh. If someone else has had an experience, I would love for them to tell me, but I've never had an experience where it was a good one.
I think that tops any I've ever heard. That's holy moly. Wow. Mr. Sadie 123 wants to know: is it harder reselling? Wait, do you think it's harder reselling being a woman?
No, I think it's easier reselling being a woman.
Honestly, I do too.
You don't intimidate the women as much, and you can flirt with the men.
Exactly, the men, us men, man, suckers, and I'm one of them included. Even waitresses, man, flash that little smile, and oh, it's over.
Aww.
You know, I'll admit it. And she does her hair.
I'm good. Yeah, I'm like, man, I'm looking rough. I have such a bad cold right now. So yeah, sorry about that, but yeah, I'm like, man, I look like death right now. Warmed over. It's bad. But it's been a travel day, so.
Julie wants to know if you participate in any of the Facebook picking groups.
Like the local buy-sell trade. Oh yeah, I'm in like 15 of them.
Or like the one we talked about, our reseller society. where it's a whole bunch of different groups combined, so you can
I
learn from each other and stuff like that.
I like as far as other pickers, yes. I'm only in one. It takes up a lot of my time. Storage Treasures has a program called Pro Training, so you can go to storagetreasures.com and pay. I think it's $300 or something for the year, and that $300 gets you like a subscription to WorthPoint. You have unlimited auction listings that you can look up for free, and then it gives you this 12 episode video series on, like I was talking about before, we did from start to finish. Like, I bought a unit, here's how to go to auction prepared, here's how to buy a unit, here's how to sell your unit from start to finish. And a lot of really cool people were involved with that program. Dan and Laura Dotson were in it, Nabila was in it. The Suburban Picker was involved, who is Dave Hester's former business partner, so he was involved. The Redneck Picker, Troy Howerton, who had that show on History called The Real Deal, was involved. Me, Brian, a few other people. Drenton Beers. I always say his last name wrong. I think it's Beers, but he's like a comic book expert on Amazon. So it was really cool. But the point is that if you pay the $300 to be part of this program, you go through this like school for picking and storage hunting, and at the end of it, you're assigned like a mentor, and they have this Facebook group where you can like ask questions and like get homework assignments and stuff like that. And so Troy and I and Brian and Drenton and Nabila, I think, and a few other people are all mentors in this program. So I watch that one pretty regularly. That's the one I try to watch the most.
Well, I appreciate all the time you spent with me working to get hooked up on this and everything else with all that you go on in your life.
Well, thanks. So thanks for having me. It's been a lot of fun. I'm sorry I'm so sniffly.
No worries.
Hey, it could be worse.
Hey, if you ever get like that big break or whatever movie thing, save those napkins so you can sell them on eBay.
Oh, nice. You want my snotty tissues? I'll give you like an autograph or a piece of hair or something like romantic. Not like my snotty tissues. Oh my goodness.
People are weird. I don't know. There's people's gums, or the people have chewed gum or whatever, and they've sold them. I don't know.
I hear you. They're on National Wives Club. Yvonne Strahovski is on it, and she is absolutely beautiful. She was, you guys might remember her. She was on Chuck for the entire length of the show on Chuck, and she was also on Dexter. But she is absolutely beautiful, and like I see her do like simple things like walking, and I'm like, man, I wish I looked like that when I walked. Like, I wish I looked like that when I scratched my face or whatever. But all the women on this show are absolutely beautiful, so it's like yeah, I'm kind of like watching like the celebrity, like, oh man, like, she talks on the phone, like she scratches her nose. Like,
she's so pretty when she talks on the phone. You're so pretty when you get a ticket, yeah.
So pretty, yeah. When you ride the shuttle.
Well, I want to say hi to Matt. Holland Hobbies is in the house. I don't know if he was there during the first
Holland Hobbies.
So,
cool.
Welcome, Matt. They're catching an extra hour, extra time because I had a little power outage, and Rebecca's been nice enough to, and having so much fun, she wants to stay for more.
I know. She wasn't even watching the Saints game even. Yeah.
I know.
That's how awesome we are. I mean.
So if they got any more. Okay, yeah, I think that's a little bit of a joke, but. Yeah, asked is Justin Timberlake toasted on eBay?
So, probably.
Does Justin Timberlake what? Have toast on eBay?
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess.
You can start selling us whatever you ate. Take a bite. I took a bite of this toast.
That's funny. By the way, just so people know, like, there is a huge difference between, y'all I'm sure knows, but like, when you see something on eBay and you see the price, there's a huge difference between what someone is asking for it versus what it actually sells for. And I get this all the time, like, Baby thing. Like BuzzFeed will do an article about Beanie Babies like every 3 months, and it's like the Princess Diana Beanie Baby is worth $8 million, and blah blah blah. Yeah, right.
You go there and they're like 99 cents. Starting
Yeah,
bid.
it's so aggravating. Like, because people see, oh, someone listed that for $3,500. Like, I could literally go right now and crap in a bag and put it on eBay for $5,000. That does not mean my crap in a bag is worth $5,000. That means I'm an idiot. That's what that means. So, like, I always tell people, if you can afford WorthPoint, worthpoint.com, there's an app for the phone. eBay has their own app for, like, how things have sold over the years, and like Amazon has their own app for how things are selling and how they're ranked or whatever. But WorthPoint is cool because what WorthPoint does is it will take completed, not posted eBay items, completed eBay listings. It'll take private auction and anything that's sold kind of like at an auction or like a private, if it was recorded at like a estate sale or like what it went for, they'll adjust it for inflation, and they'll give you the value. And they'll actually give you like the original eBay. You can go look at like the original eBay ad so you can see how they described it. Like you could be like, oh, this Power Ranger went for $50, but this one only went for $20. Well, why? And you can go look at the descriptions and see if they had a better description or see what it was, why it sold. But that's a really helpful way to, figure out like kind of what's what.
Okay, well, yeah, was not joking. He said he heard it about the toast years ago.
That's awesome. Sand sells, apparently.
It does, actually.
It's awesome.
Certain sands, yeah, you'd be surprised.
And Sandy Rick says, "Go Saints!"
Yay, go Saints! Did we win? Did we just win? Is it over?
I wouldn't know.
Did I miss it? It's like completely over. I think it is over. Wait. I'm watching a split screen of, wait, something's happening. I think we just, this is weird. There's a split screen. It's cut into 4 pieces. One piece is the Green Bay coach, one piece is the Green Bay bench, one piece is the New Orleans coach, and one piece is the New Orleans bench. No, it's not over. It's 44-23? 41.
Wow.
Is that hot? Wait, hang on. I need to check my, hang on. Yeah,
no way.
44-23 it is.
Wow.
Go Saints. That's crazy. Go Saints. That's awesome. Yay, maybe I should not watch more often.
So anybody have any more questions for Rebecca? I'm sure she's willing to answer as much as she can. I know there are certain things she cannot cover, even though I want to ask, because I know a certain show she was on this year, but I cannot cover it, even though I want to.
Yeah, we can when they come out.
Yeah. I don't see any in there.
Look, I know it's a local. All I'm gonna say is I know it's a local show that you were on, and I mean local as in national local show. If that makes sense.
Something like that.
Recently, or the one I'm doing right now?
Huh? The one that I'll put it in our chat.
Let me see if I can find that thing again. Hang on.
Left-hand side, top. It should have a little.
Yeah. Yes, I'm there.
Yep. Right there.
I forgot what the question even was, or what we were saying.
I put in what I was going to talk about, but you're.
Yeah, that's fine. No, I've been doing. Oh my gosh, sorry. I've been on NCIS New Orleans now. I've done it as a background, just extra, like 5 or 6 times, I think. Which is funny because I did 4 whole days of filming. 3 whole days of filming from like 8 in the morning to like midnight or something. And like in one of them I was like making out with my boyfriend at the time, and like in one of them I was like running down the street, and one of them I saw a guy get hit by a car, and one of them I'm dancing in a bar, one of them I'm having a drink in a bar, one of them I'm like walking up and down the street, one of them I'm like shopping, like I mean it was like all these different things we were doing. And then NCIS New Orleans comes out. The first episode is like the pilot. The second episode comes out. Now, we were told when we were shooting all this stuff that like one was episode 2, one was episode 3, one was episode 4, one was episode 5. And episode 2 comes out, and I kid you not, everything I just described to you, the drinking at the bar, the dancing at the bar, the guy getting hit by the car, it's like 10 seconds of footage, all of it. All of it together is like 10 seconds. Like,
so now you know, everybody, keep an eye out when you watch that episode. If you didn't see it, go back and watch it and see if you can spot it.
Go frame by frame.
Man, like, wow, they combined all of that stuff like into one little, like, we thought it was like different days, different shows. It's like, man, they watched all that little stuff. Like, so yeah, it's an episode where the guy has like bubonic plague and he's walking out of a bar on Bourbon Street and he looks drunk, but he really has bubonic plague and he gets hit by a car. So right after he gets hit by the car, if you pause it, because that's the only way you get to see me, if you pause it, and you look toward the left of the screen, you'll see me. I'm like in a green tank top and jeans, and I'm looking mortified because actually, when they did it, I can tell you all this because it aired now. The stunt guy was such a trooper, and he did the stunt so realistically. I mean, he actually got hit. When I say he got hit by the car hit him, he ran up the hood and managed to flip off of it. But it was such a challenging aerobic thing for him to do that he was only able to do it twice. And the first time was supposed to be a rehearsal, and the second time was supposed to be the real deal. So the first time they just kind of did it, and then the second time they actually like really did it, and they broke the windshield, and they broke the hood, and they dented the car, and they did all these things, you know, because they knew they weren't going to be able to do it again. Well, in the first take, the rehearsal take, we were warned that the car was going to come speeding down the street and he was going to walk right in front of it and get hit, and it was probably going to look really bad, whatever, but this was a rehearsal and it was going to be okay. And one of the challenges of filming in New Orleans, especially on Bourbon Street, is that, you know, they usually do a really good job of blocking off the crowd and not letting anyone who's not background or principal come through, but they can't do that when it's Bourbon Street on a Thursday night. Mm-hmm. So you see like 500 or 600 people in that take, and only maybe 100 of them were actually paid. The rest of the people are just crowd, and you know, it kept getting worse as the night was going on because, you know, people see cameras, they come closer, and then when people see 400 people, they just want to see what the 400, like, mostly people couldn't, they couldn't even see what was happening. They just were like standing behind this big crowd because they knew something was happening. And so it got really dangerous. And what I'm trying to say is it got really dangerous. And so the production assistants, who are normally never, ever, ever, ever anywhere in the shot, were having to like kind of come in the shot to like kind of warn the non-background professionals to stand back. Hey, there's, you know, not only are you in our shot and you're ruining it because you're taking pictures of something that hasn't happened yet, you know, like, the guy hasn't been hit by a car yet, and you're waiting for the car to come down the street, so you're ruining our shot. But you're also, you know, going to get run over and killed. Like, this is not a good place for you to be. And so the PA came over right in front of me. You can see him in the shot. His name's Big D. He's a big black guy with, like, he's awesome. He's cool as shit. So he's standing like this trying to warn these people, and as he's doing this, the rehearsal happens. I wasn't expecting it, because I thought for sure they'd wait on the rehearsal until they had cleared the shot because I knew they were rolling. And I'm telling you, it looked so real. Right in front of me, it looked so real that you can see in the shot, if you pause me, I am like, oh my God, 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 Chelsea. Because I really thought, you know, he got hit, he landed on the ground, he didn't move for a couple minutes because he knows they're filming him still. You know, and then eventually he did the thumbs up. But man, I was like, I just saw somebody get run over right in front of me. This is so bad. Like, this is very, very bad. Like, oh my gosh, I'm freaking out. And so that's the shot they used. They didn't use the second one. They used the rehearsal, and I'm like, we're all like, oh my. So yeah, but so you could look for me in that episode of NCIS. And this Tuesday on NCIS, they're doing a special Halloween episode. So I will be in a Halloween costume, and you probably may or may not see me, but you could look for me in my Halloween costume this Tuesday night.
Cool.
And I also know from your post on Facebook, I hope you don't mind if somebody wants to friend you or wants to follow you now on Facebook, since you're going to be getting famous now.
I felt that, seriously.
If that you did a couple of game shows.
I did Wheel of Fortune in 2011. My episode was September 30th of 2011, if y'all want to look it up. It was episode 5470. And then I did Who Wants to Be a Millionaire on April 8th of 2013. And I am auditioning right now for another game show. It's not a huge deal. It's like, I mean, it sounds great. I could win like $20,000. It's like not a big deal. But yeah, I'm auditioning for that right now.
Not a big deal. Yeah.
No big deal. Just another TV show to be on.
Well, I mean, Wheel of Fortune and Millionaire, both, you have the opportunity for both to win up to $1 million. So, I mean, that's huge money.
True.
Huge money. And, you know, I won $20,000 on one. I cleared 7. You know, and I won like $16,000 on the other. I cleared like 9 or something, you know. So it's not, you know, after all is said and done, you win $20,000, you probably have like 4 or 5. I mean, it's more money than you had before. I'm just saying it's not as life-changing as people might think it is because it's a lot of taxes.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Chris?
Yeah, I'm looking at the comments to see if there's any questions.
Okay.
Since I crashed, I don't really, and we've kind of gone away from the topic. I figured get her acting stuff out of the way, cover a couple of businesses here and there.
Yeah, you don't really want to hear
And
about
then,
that.
and then the next time she comes, we can next time in a couple months when she comes, we can do the yard sale, really cover it for people that want to either buy or sell.
Cool.
Yeah, for sure. Oh, and by the way, there's 2 commercials that I'm on right now that are out. Well, one is out. One is coming. One is going to be a Pepsi commercial. That one hasn't aired yet, but I will be in that one, so look for me in that one. But there's a Toyota commercial out with me right now that is about, it's called Bucket List. And it's the Toyota Camry's new slogan is like bold, be brave, be bold, something like that. So it's this guy who like crashes a Mardi Gras parade with his car. Like he like drives into the parade. Like not run over people, but like he decides he wants to be a part of the parade. I realize that's misleading. So he like crashes the party and like enters the parade. And so that I'm in that. I'm in my NOLA showgirl. I'm a NOLA showgirl. Not like stripper, but like Las Vegas showgirl. And so I'm in this big white feather thing with fans. You can kind of see me like dancing in front of the car. So if you see that, it's been airing. I actually think it is aired twice on the Toyota halftime show while we've been sitting here while I've been watching the game. So that's a fun one too.
So kind of surreal to see. I mean, probably not as much now, but like at the beginning to like see yourself on TV or whatever, just kind of like I don't know. It's like, 'cause it's not like a mirror, so you're like, what, you know?
TV, like I haven't really had a huge role in TV shows. It's only been like, backgrounds and featured and stuff like that in movies. So it's kind of cool, but you remember that you're not really a star and that you have 5 seconds of screen time, and you know that's your elbow, but no one else knows that's your elbow.
Gotcha. Okay.
When Wheel of Fortune and Millionaire both came out, Wheel of Fortune especially because that was my first game show, and I've been watching that show since I was a baby. Like that came out in '81, and I was born in '82. So I've watched it my whole life. Like when I was on Wheel of Fortune, that was weird because it was like the same set you've had in your living room all this time, and and that show came out, and I watched it, and it was like. To this day, it makes me uncomfortable to watch it. It makes me uncomfortable to watch it because it's weird. It's very strange.
I also know you did the WrestleMania 30 ad.
I did both the print ad.
Business partner?
Is that what?
I said, is that where you also met your new business partner?
Actually, no. That's a good question, though. I met my new business partner on the Toyota commercial that I just was talking about. So that was just two or three months ago, and he's super talented. He his name's Benjamin Wood, and you can look him up. He has an IMDb as well. And he was a wrestler for years and years and years and years, and WWE put him through OVW, which is like their school for wrestlers. They all go through OVW, and so he went through that, and he was ready to sign his big deal, and he was in a match, and someone jumped on him or something happened, and he was in this match, and his kneecap fractured, like literally, like in half, like broke. So it was kind of a big blow for him, but he realized like acting and wrestling are kind of the same thing, really. I mean, especially if you're doing like physical acting. So he transitioned to that pretty well, and we were on a set. So we're on this commercial set, and we're doing this commercial, and we're obviously both full-time actors, and we're hanging out and stuff. And he looks at me, and he's like, he was hitting on me at the time, actually, granted, that's important to the story, but he's like hitting on me, and he's like, yeah, he was like, I would love to like hang out with you sometime, and like we could like go do like stuff that I like to do or whatever. I'm like, well, what do you like to do? Now he has no idea like that I have storage heroes or that I've done like storage stuff all this time and stuff. And he's like, yeah, he's like, I love like collecting things, and I love estate sales, and I love antiques, and I really would love to just have my own store where I, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, well, it's funny that you mentioned that, because I just closed my store like yesterday. It was like the day after I closed, like a week after I closed my store. And I was like, I just closed my store yesterday. I was like, this is like my full-time thing. And he's like, no way, So, yeah. If you want to actually check out most of our eBay, we sell through his stuff. And it's Ben Jamin's Bargains is his username, but it's BEN-JAMINS Bargains. And then mine is Storage Heroes, Storage-Heroes. So you can look at either one of those eBay stores and kind of see, like, I don't think we have a whole lot going on right now because I've been on set so much, but I've been trying to put 5 or 6 items a day up. So there's probably some stuff, but if y'all are interested in what we have, like, we still have some of that sci-fi stuff going on. A lot of books and magazines and things like that are up there. So y'all can totally check that out. I don't know what WWE, sorry. I did a commercial for them, and I did a print ad for them. And that was a lot of fun. And you most definitely can see me in that. I know you, like, I'm right behind Fandango and whatever her name is, Summer Rae.
Yeah, I didn't get to see that yet. I haven't gotten the DVD to see the ad.
I need the DVD to be able to see the full one. I've seen parts of it.
Any more questions for Rebecca? Yeah, hey, Shannon, I was just gonna say, once we go off air, that's not gonna be there for other people. So, for the links.
Oh yeah, well if they get it now.
Yeah, we'll have to remember them and put them in comments after it goes live and off the air.
Yeah. There's a couple here. How do you get TV gigs? Do you send out your resume or through an agent?
If you want a line, you definitely need an agent. If you're happy with just doing background work, which is good money and it's a lot of fun and they feed you, then you can just kind of...
I'm there then.
Yeah, I mean, it's good food. I mean, you sit around, like, literally you'll sit around for 8 hours, and then they'll use you for 10 minutes, and you'll get lunch. And so, I way to, like, sit, bring your laptop, bring your phone, like, sit and, like, do eBay, like, get paid. Like, if you were sitting in a home office and you're, just listing stuff all day anyway, you might as well get paid and fed to do what you were going to do anyway. You know what I mean? So, that's how I started doing it. There's, as far as background goes, you can go to mycastingfile.com is what we use in Louisiana. You can go to Central Casting if you're in either New York or Los Angeles. If you're anywhere else in the country, I mean, you really need to move. I mean, there's really not much you can do. A lot of people don't, like, the film industry has some severe tax credits, and so they follow the tax credits. And right now, the places that have the tax credits are New York, LA, Toronto, Louisiana, Mississippi, Atlanta, North Carolina just actually canceled their credits. So if you're not in one of those places, it's going to be really, really, really difficult for you to be on TV. But you could apply for Wheel of Fortune. They're always looking for people. You could apply for Millionaire. They're always looking for people too. And those are both shows where you don't have to fly to audition. Like they'll take you off of like a video audition or like a Wheelmobile audition, and then you get compensated. You're not flying out to be on the show unless you know that you're going to be on the show. There's not a chance that you fly. Like Price is Right, you fly out there and you may not be on it. Wheel of Fortune or Millionaire, you're booked before you fly and make that process, make that financial obligation.
What's the most you paid for a unit, and why did you pay that much for it?
I've seen units go for up to $3,700 in Louisiana. I've seen units go for up to $9,000 or $10,000 in California. The most I've ever paid was probably $875, $1,000-ish. I mean, I don't feel like it takes money to make money, certainly, but I feel like if you're going to spend that much money, you don't need to be gambling. If you're going to be spending that much money, you need to buy something from someone that you know what it is to resell it, that you can kind of research it before you're dropping that kind of amount of money. If you're going to take a gamble and you're going to buy mystery items, I feel like $1,000 is really pushing the limit. Now, Nabila from Storage Wars, a lot of people don't know this, but recently she's bought, within the last 10 years, she's bought 2 celebrity units by accident. She had the second one she knew, the first one she didn't. The first unit she bought was Paris Hilton. And it was under the assistant's name, and nobody knew it was Paris Hilton's unit. It rolled open. It looked like wealthy stuff. She took it up to I think people said she paid like $8,000 for this unit, and was going through it later and realized, oh my God, this is Paris Hilton's unit. She sold it for some undisclosed amount of money. I know what it is, but I can't really tell y'all. But for some undisclosed amount of money, a lot. I mean, think like at least high 5-digit number. To someone who then actually got sued because the Paris Hilton sex tape thing came out of the storage unit. That's how they got it. So Nabila had bought it and sold it to someone who actually happened to be an employee of TMZ, and they, did what they wanted with her personal effects, and they ended up getting sued, but she had already sold it, so it wasn't, Wow. So that was the first one, and then the second one she bought was Tila Tequila's unit, and Tila Tequila, if y'all don't know, is like a, she does a lot of porn, yeah, well, y'all probably, yeah. She had a reality TV show called Tequila of Love.
Something like that.
I don't know. But, so yeah. So she got that one, but from what I understand, that one was in Tila Tequila's real name. So if you had done your research and you knew what her real name was and you saw that name, then you knew. Now, it's a very common, Vietnamese or Filipino name. So I don't know how they, whatever, but apparently people knew it was her unit before they bought it. Nabila says she didn't, but I don't know if she did or not, whatever. But yeah, so, it's worth it then if you spend $8,000 and you make, 5-6 figures off this unit.
Heck yeah. Wow.
Well, I'll answer this question for Rebecca already because she said it earlier. Ray Sland, Rebecca does not do FBA. She hasn't really done Amazon yet. She said she should, but don't know when with all her busy schedule and doing eBay and all that other good stuff.
You should do FBA though. It'd be good while you're traveling around and stuff.
Yeah.
Of course, and again, if you're in for 16, 12, 20 hours a day, you probably don't have time anyway. So.
I don't know. Somebody I was asking about Etsy. I use Etsy. I do a little bit on Etsy. I actually used to use Bonanza too. Bonanza was trying to take off as a antique eBay for antiques. It is what it is. I think I sold one thing. It was $750. I sold it, but it's the one thing I've ever sold on Bonanza. I mean, I just you just find what works for you. Like, I think the reason I don't like Amazon is I like the fact that on eBay people bid. I like the fact that, sometimes you might list something for $5 because you're ignorant on what it is, and it might go for 500 because it's in a bidding war. So as much as I'm a proponent of you need to know what you're listing, you need to research what you're listing, you need to whatever, sometimes there's been DVDs where I've looked up and I've been like, oh, this DVD sold for $19.99 in the store. Oh, they haven't sold it for a couple years, but I see it on Amazon for $12. I want to put it up for $6.99. That DVD has gone for like $88 because people had to have it and got in a bidding war. So I wouldn't have never in my right mind listed it on Amazon for $88, but because I put it on eBay, I got it. I got $80 extra because people just got crazy stupid and were fighting with each other over it. So eBay has kind of that safeguard thing where like you can't lose sometimes, So I think that's pretty cool.
Okay, well, I know you say you don't have much up, but how are you handling the new eBay changes with soon to be 180-day returns and things like that?
They've lost their damn mind. I still don't agree with the whole label thing. Like, by the way, for those of you that are having trouble with that stupid Java label thing, you can actually go through PayPal and print your shipping label through PayPal, and it's the old label. For those of you who are interested in that, I'm not going to say anything about eBay until they actually roll it out. It's hard for me to judge. I mean, the example I'll use is global shipping. They came out with global shipping, and I was like, oh, this is the stupidest thing I've ever heard. Forced, into like sending something to somebody in Tibet, like this is ridiculous, whatever. That shit makes me so much money. Like, I have sold so much random stupid stuff that no American in their right mind would pay any money for, that people in wherever are paying so much money. And, I send it to Lexington, Kentucky, and that's all I have to do, and it's out of my hands. I get my money right away. I get my, it's amazing. So I judged that program. I was like, that's stupid. I hate it. They're taking over my stuff. They're forcing me to send stuff places I don't want to have to send it, and this is un-American, and they shouldn't do this to me, and da-da-da. I know, like, at my very first global sale, it was a ring that I had it at like $1,000 or best offer, and I really thought for sure somebody was going to offer me like $100 or $125, and I was going to be like, sure, no problem. Some Australian dude like bought it now for like $1,000. He didn't even question, like he didn't even make an offer. He just bought it, so okay, like that's totally fine with me, So I wouldn't have had that $1,000 had they not had global shipping, because I probably would have I don't know, I probably wouldn't have even checked off that country. So I'm really glad they did that. So we'll see what happens.
Okay, I'm not gonna have too many more questions because I do know Rebecca has wake-up call. I don't know exactly what time, and it's already going on 11 o'clock at her in Mississippi. So I don't want to keep her past. She was gracious enough to stay extra and deal with my technical issues.
Oh, no problem.
So, and she will be back. She already admitted to that. So let's do a couple more questions, and then we'll let her go. How many people? Dustin Christ asks, how many people have you seen at the auctions usually?
It depends on, y'all are gonna laugh probably, but it's so true. It depends on whether or not Storage Wars is in season and how well the people did on the previous episode. If I see, it also matters on like the day, like, Saturday auctions or holiday, like if it's a 4th of July or Labor Day or Memorial Day or Columbus Day or something where people have off of work but not necessarily doing something, you see a lot more people. But man, if I see an episode of Storage Wars where like somebody makes $800 or $1,000 or $1,800 or whatever, and man, oh God, it's like the next day all of a sudden there's like 200 extra people. It's like, where did you people come from? It depends on where you are. I know California has a lot more people than other places. New Orleans, there's probably about 50 people at every auction. And of those 50, 12 to 16 of us are every auction. We know each other. We know each other's names. We know each other's outfits. We know each other's cars. We know where we parked. We know what we're going to do. We know what we're looking for. Like I go to auction and there's this one lady, Maria, that has a thrift store in kind of a, not bad neighborhood, but like kind of a suburban neighborhood. So I know without a doubt that she's going to be buying furniture and washers and dryers. And, there's one guy that only buys mattresses. There's this one guy that, likes musical instruments. There's just one guy that likes crap. There's just one guy that likes boxes like I do, boxes and bags, little stuff. So, you know who's going to be bidding against you. You know what their bid is going to be. And oh! I just remembered the question that we went out on and what I was going to say. Okay, so one of you guys made the point that you never make the first bid.
Mm-hmm.
But there is a time where you should. And what it is that some auction facilities have different rules for bidding. Most ones will take any increment. But some of them will only take certain increments. So, for example, what I mean is, there's certain facilities where it's 1, 25, 50, 75, 100, 200, 100, 250, 500, 750, 1,000. And those are the only increments they'll allow. So, if you see a unit and you know it's worth $100, you want to drop that $50 bid or that $75 bid because the next person's not going to bid the 100, and then you have the unit. Or if it's like maybe a $5 unit but it's not a $25 unit, you can drop that $5 bid and nobody's going to do the 25. But if you do the 1, then someone else will do the 5, and then you're out of luck. So in that case, it is totally, totally worth it to drop that first bid. You just have to kind of price it right. Yeah. I knew it was a good answer. That's why I was like, oh, I remembered it. But yeah, you see the same people at every auction, and you kind of know their strategy. And I think that's what reminded me of it. Like, sometimes you do silent auctions, which I hate, but sometimes they'll do silent auctions. So they'll roll open the door and they'll give everybody a piece of paper, for those of you who don't know, and you'll write down your bid and you'll fold it and you'll hand it in. And then the auctioneer will sit there, and it's a pain in the ass because they'll go through all the paper while you're standing there, and whoever has the highest bid wins. And then they'll reveal the highest bid and the second highest bid. And for the longest time, people would bid like $100. And then I was like, well, that's stupid. I'm gonna bid 10. It's like Price is Right, like 101. Well, so then the next week it was like everyone started bidding 101. So then the next week everybody was bidding like 102, and then people were like, I'll show them, I'll bid 105. So it's funny because when you go to silent auctions, the dude over there is gonna bid $1 over, the dude over there is gonna bid $25 over, the dude over there is gonna underbid, and the dude over there is gonna bid $300 too much. You know what I mean? So it's super funny. Once you kind of know people's bidding strategy, you can kind of alter yours to play with them a little bit.
No doubt.
Mr. City, I don't think eBay charges for their global shipping center. They charge the buyer, not the seller.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I am a little happy and sad of it at the same time, because the fact that we had 54 watchers before I crashed, and now we're hovering around 20. That means 30 people did not come back.
That's their loss. They don't know about the shipping center now.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah, they usually do that when they're listening. They don't ask questions, they just keep listening. And when I do know that Chad told us while I was trying to figure out who was going to be able to cover the show for me while I was coming back, that his internet connection got lost. That's why he got booted out.
Oh.
That and The Walking Dead was starting right about then too. Just saying. I got you, Chad. For him in his time zone.
Okay, well, it is a little after 11 o'clock in Mississippi, and like I said before, I know Rebecca has to get some sleep. For the people that are here, we are going to have Picking Las Vegas next week to talk about Wayne Kay at the Goodwill Outlet. So, Rebecca, if you want to say your goodnight and plug anything of yours, like your books again, so I can rewatch this, I can write them down and buy them from you.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you guys for having me. This has been so much fun. Like, for me to say something's more fun than the Saints game is like a big honor. So you should totally feel amazing about that. But yeah, so if you want to friend me, I typically try to get people not to friend me on my personal Facebook. I don't really update it much, but if you want to follow me, follow my updates, you can. It's Rebecca Fox on Facebook. My Storage Heroes one I check more often because I have like the page notification, and that's facebook.com/Storage Heroes, HEROES. The website is storage-heroes.com. IMDb, somebody already posted in the chat, but I mean that's really not super important. My other business is foxitup.net is the website, but I mean really, like, if y'all want to come holler at me on Facebook or friend Storage Heroes or friend me or follow me or whatever, that's totally fine. But thank y'all for listening and asking great questions, and hopefully I wasn't too boring or talk your head off, and yeah, I had a lot of fun, so thank you guys.
John, would you like to say yours?
There was a request earlier that I had forgotten about, but Caesar's Palace. Check him out on Facebook. He's actually going to have a drawing on his channel. I guess it's on his channel for a Frozen doll. So,
oh, cool.
Well, you want to win that and resell it and all that stuff. So.
Oh yeah, that's right. Okay.
Yeah. Other than that, just hover your little cursor over my name or anybody's names, and you can sub that way to them. Makes it a lot easier than having to go to their channel. So, and don't forget about the Toadcast Friday nights, 5 p.m. Pacific.
Yay!
It's all good. Oh, and thank you very much for joining us. It was a lot of fun. Yeah. Okay.
And I want to say thanks again for everybody that did come to the second part. I'm sorry about the little power outage. Not my doing. And I want to thank Rebecca again, and we will be getting back a hold of her to bring her back. I don't know exactly when, but I will definitely work with her and get her on. And we will try to stay more on topic the next time. I just knew with her history and what I wanted to ask her that we weren't going to stay on topic too well this week. But I did my best.
You did great, and hopefully my yard sale book will be out soon. I'm trying to finish it, so this gives me the motivation to finish it. So if people want to like message me and pre-order that or whatever, storageheroes@gmail is the email address. I will send you a pre-copy and maybe whatever, add some kind of perk in it or something. So yeah, this gives me an incentive to finish it before the next time.
Autograph it.
Yeah.
Well, like I said, unless you want to come back sooner, I'm thinking probably maybe before the spring, so that way that's when yard sale season starts. Unless you want to come back sooner and talk.
It's up to you guys. Before the spring is fine. I wrap the show in February, so I'll have a lot more free time after that. But anytime y'all want to have me, I'd be happy to come back.
Cool.
Well, that's good to know. Well, thanks again, everybody, and I will be saying goodnight, and hope to see you in the Reseller Society and on Facebook. On my Facebook page at Walking Picker.
In the words of Biscuit Head, keep on picking and keep having fun. Brian's